kind of compare them and then give the audience the reason. Before we begin, beware of dragon-sized spoilers that are coming up ahead. Therefore, stay here at your own risk or fly away. House of the Dragon season finale ended on a tremendously horrific note. Not only does Lucerys' death at the hands of Vhagar turn the course of the war, but it is also the single most impulsive and dumbest move that would lead to the beginning of the end of House Targaryen. The dragon fight above Shipbreaker Bay followed the sequence of events as detailed in the source material, but there was more to the show. Unlike the book, Aemond did not really want to kill his nephew, Lucerys, and was shocked after the tragic and violent death. But why do you think that is? Well, fear you not, we have compiled a list of reasons. In this video, we will explore the events that led to the face-off between Aemond and Lucerys, and explore the reasons why we think the two princes did not want to fight each other to the death. Let's Dracarys! Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin.
I want you to put out your eye. It's payment for mine.
The prelude to Aemond vs. Lucerys. House of the Dragons Episode 10 ended on a horrific cliffhanger, with Daemon Targaryen telling his wife, Queen Rhaenyra, about her second eldest son's death. But how did it come to that? I mean, yes, we know that Rhaenyra sent her children to remind other lords of the oath they had taken at the Second Great Council. But why did Rhaenyra do that, and why did she choose to not draw first blood? Well, we have discussed this in another video, but I'll just bring you up to speed. When Rhaenyra heard about the death of her father and how Alicent had crowned Aegon, Rhaenyra lost her shit so much that she went into a black fury and had early labor to give birth to a malformed stillborn child with scaly reptile-like skin. After Sir Eric Cargyle brought her the crown of King Viserys, she was coronated and hailed as the Queen of the Seven Kingdoms. Despite being advised by Lord Celtigar, Daemon and the others to attack King's Landing, Rhaenyra did not want to do that just yet. She did not want to send dragons to war because when dragons went to war, everything and everyone burned. A good example is what Drogon did to King's Landing. Another reason why Rhaenyra did not launch an attack was that she had fewer dragon riders with her when the First Black Council was convened. She did not wish to send her kids or Baela to fight, and she herself was not in a position to fly till King's Landing after the terrible labor. Lastly, she was considering the peace terms that Otto Hightower had brought because it didn't make sense to plunge Westeros into war just so she could sit on the Iron Throne. She wanted to wait till she knew the full strength of her armies before sending them to war, so she needed to send ravens to the Lords of Storm's End, the North, and Lady of Vale. However, Jacaerys suggested that he and Lucerys would serve as her emissaries because dragons flew faster than ravens, and the two princes would be more convincing than birds. Rhaenyra sent Jacaerys to the Vale and North, and asked Lucerys to fly to Storm's End. Lucerys' journey was supposed to be safer and shorter than his elder brother's, but when Lucerys reached Storm's End, he found that Aemond was already present there. Lord Boros Baratheon heard that his Maester read the message from Queen Rhaenyra, but was not pleased. The man was a proud and haughty one, and asked Lucerys if he had something to offer, like a hand in marriage, but Lucerys was already betrothed to Lady Rhaena Velaryon. Aemond was furious to see his nephew present at the same lord's house whom he had come to convince. But more than that, Aemond wanted revenge for the eye he had lost many years ago at Lucerys' hand. Aemond throws at Lucerys a blade and asks him to extract one of his eyes. Of course, Lucerys says no, and before Aemond can attack him, Boros Baratheon stops Aemond and asks his guards to escort Lucerys to his dragon, Arrax. Aemond follows Lucerys, and the rest, as we know, is historically tragic. Having said that, Lucerys and Aemond did not really wish to kill each other. Here we have compiled a few possible reasons behind that.
If you take this errand, you go as messengers, not as warriors. You must take no part.
Number 1. Lucerys had been asked by his mother not to engage in war. Firstly, before Rhaenyra said her goodbyes to the two boys, she made them swear upon a copy of the Seven-Pointed Star that they would go as messengers and not warriors. The boys swore that they would not engage in any fighting. Although Jacaerys had an aggressive temperament, Lucerys was calmer and more obedient. There was no way that he was going to dishonor the promise he made to his mother. Once at Storm's End, he told Aemond the same and expected that Aemond would understand, but Aemond was a snug young prince and knew nothing but arrogance and viciousness. When Lucerys denied Aemond's request of gorging out an eye, Aemond pulled his sword, and little Lucerys had to draw his sword in self-defense.
I will not fight you. I came as a messenger, not a warrior.
Number 2. Lucerys knew he would lose. Another major reason why Lucerys did not want to engage Aemond in a duel was that the 13-year-old was aware that it was a fight he could never win. Aemond was much elder than him and had been trained by Sir Criston Cole to become an ace swordsman. Aegon II also had the same training, but Aegon was far less dedicated than his younger brother, who paid attention to everything from philosophy to swordsmanship. Anyway, Lucerys did not have a master like Sir Criston Cole after he moved to Dragonstone, and apart from that, he was very young, with fewer years of training. It was obvious that little Luke was trembling when Aemond charged at him.
No, Rhaegar! No! Don't! Serve me, Rhaegar, no!
Number 3. Aemond only wanted to scare the boy and not be a kinslayer. According to the book, when Lucerys was asked to leave by Lord Boros Baratheon, Aemond was left furious, and yet he did not really plan to follow Lucerys until he was provoked by one of the Baratheon girls. Lady Maris Baratheon, the sister of a girl whom Aegon had chosen for himself, said, "Was it one of your eyes he took, or one of your balls? I'm so glad you chose my sister. I want a husband with all his parts." This left Aemond in rage. He turned to Lord Baratheon and asked for his leave, which was granted. In the show, when Aemond follows Lucerys, he had many an opportunity to burn Lucerys and Arrax, since Vhagar had come pretty close, and yet it seemed that Aemond was playing around with his nephew and his younger dragon. He was being the bully that he had been trained to become, but he was not ready to kill Lucerys and be known as Kinslayer. And this was proven by the fact that Aemond was desperately trying to stop Vhagar from hurting Lucerys. However, Vhagar had been attacked by Arrax, and the great old beast had lost her shit. No one attacks the biggest creature in the world, right? But Arrax was young, wild, and dumb, or shall I say, a dragon. Despite all of Aemond's attempts to stop Vhagar, the dragon killed Arrax and Lucerys. After witnessing this, Aemond was left in shock and regret, but that's just my thoughts. You do let me know what you think of it. Number 4, Aemond understood that drawing first blood would work against the Greens. Lastly, Aemond was not his elder brother and was more sensible. Yes, he was a brute and a bully by nature, but that does not mean he could not comprehend the consequence of drawing first blood, that too by killing Rhaenyra's child. In fact, the book tells us that no one in King's Landing appreciated what Aemond had done. His mother cried for the mother's mercy, while Otto Hightower rebuked the one-eyed prince. Only Aegon Targaryen, the king, the fool, praised Aemond and hosted a feast in his honor. But what Aemond did just transformed the war for the worst. From a battle of ravens and emissaries and politics, it just changed into a war of fire and blood, an event that would prove to be the beginning of the end for House Targaryen. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.
See how